I don't care who you are. If you're in the real estate market right now, you are frustrated. I don't care if you're a buyer, seller, or a realtor like me, it is insanely difficult right now. Last week, we talked about why it's so difficult to buy a home right now in Pennsylvania. And because of that video, a lot of people actually asked me whether or not I thought it would make sense for them to wait or put off their home searching until next year. So in this week's video, I want to talk a little bit about whether or not it makes sense for you to put off your home search if you are a buyer in this market. Does it make sense to put the brakes on things and maybe wait until 2022? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this week's Just the Tip Tuesday. But before we do a little bit of house cleaning, I'm Chris Nelson with Genstone Realty, and this channel is all about real estate advice, tips, and tech. So if any of that excites you, you are in the right place, but do me a favor, drop me a comment, hit that thumbs up, consider subscribing, and mash that bell so that you're notified of my future content. All right, so if you are deciding whether or not you should put the brakes on your home search and wait until next year, well, there's really two big things that you need to ask yourself. And the first one is whether or not house prices will go up or go down. Now, although I've been in this real estate industry for going on 20 years, I don't have a crystal ball that's going to give me the answers to these questions, but we can look at trends, and more importantly, we can lean on some of the professionals who really dig in and analyze the real estate market. Now, some of the biggest players in the real estate industry provided their insight on whether or not they felt as though house prices would go up or go down over the next calendar year. Who are some of those key players? Well, Mortgage Bankers Association is one of them, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, and the list goes on. But as you know, those are some of the biggest key players in real estate. And each one of them gave their opinion on how much appreciation we would see over the next year. Now, over the last 12 months, we have seen homes appreciate quite rapidly. Some areas of the country, we've seen a little bit less than 10%, where other areas we've seen over 10%. But on average, we've seen about 10% appreciation from last year in 2020 to this year in 2021. So what does that mean for next year? It is estimated that we're going to see homes appreciate 7.7% over the next year. Now, although that is not as big of a number as 10%, that's still a pretty decent number as far as appreciation goes. But what does that mean to you, the buyer, if you're trying to figure out whether or not you should wait or not? So let's use an example. Let's say you were going to buy a home this year in 2021 for $325,000. You were going to put 10% down on your mortgage, and you were going to mortgage the property for 30 years at 3%, which is roughly our current interest rate. Well, if homes appreciate another 7.7%, that home at $325,000 in theory would be worth $350,000 in 2022. So right there alone, you can see there's about a $25,000 loss because that house is going to appreciate, meaning it's going to cost you more money. But that also means that you're going to borrow more money. For the home at $325,000 with 10% down, you would be mortgaging right around $292,000. But for that same exact home, for $350,000, you would be mortgaging just over $315,000. So that variance right there is about $22,000. So as you can see, you're going to be mortgaging more money, and you are going to be paying more for the property in only 12 short months. But now that we're talking about the mortgages, that's the other thing to consider, whether or not interest rates are going to go up or down over the next year. Now, once again, some of the same key players were asked what their thoughts were, and guess what? All of them responded stating that they see interest rates going up over the next 12 months. Now, again, we are currently teetering right around 3% in 2021 as far as an interest rate goes. But if you look at the numbers provided, the professionals are telling us that we probably will see an increase, and that average is somewhere around 3.6% in interest is what they forecast, which is about a 0.6 percentage increase from where we're currently at. But what does that mean to you? What does that do to the numbers? Well, let's talk about it. Using the same numbers we used before, assuming you were buying a home this year in 2021 for $325,000, with 10% down for 30 years and with an interest rate of 3%, your mortgage payment is going to be somewhere right around $1,230, give or take, okay? Principal and interest right around $1,230. Now, the same exact property, now keep in mind, if you wait, we already discussed that the value is going to go up. So if you wait till next year and that $325,000 property becomes a $350,000 property, and you are no longer able to get a 3% interest rate because they have climbed to roughly 3.6%, well, that same property is going to cost you roughly $1,432 monthly, or $199 more per month for the same property. Or that could also be roughly $2,400 for the year. And are you ready? Almost $72,000 over the life of the loan. So I think the picture is pretty clear. Unless we are talking about your sanity and that is the reason why you are putting the brakes on your real estate search in 2021, I totally get that. But if your reasoning is that you are going to wait and potentially save money, well, I don't think that's going to happen, at least over the course of the next 12, 18, and maybe even 24 months. But there's one other key factor, or one thing that you should consider if you are asking yourself this same exact question. Buying a home today in 2021 may also be a way for you to gain some equity in a short period of time, because we just talked about these numbers, right? So again, if you buy a home this year at a lower interest rate for $325,000, your interest rate is going to be the same next year, so long as you don't refinance, because the rate is fixed, but the property is going to appreciate. And as we spoke about, even using the averages that are assumed, well, you could see about $25,000 in additional equity. So there you have it. There's my opinion, or maybe a few other people's opinions, on whether or not it makes sense financially to put the brakes on your real estate search in 2021 and look for your new home in Pennsylvania come 2022. With all of that being said, hopefully you found some value in this video. Again, I am Chris Nelson with Genstone Realty. Do me a favor, check in next week for the very next Just the Tip Tuesday with Chris. Until then, take care.